This is a stimulus and social security update. Got some important update to share with you. President Biden just vetoed his first bill, and Joe Manchin is really angry about it. Two new states have just signed legislation and approved $500 and $600 checks. I'll let you know which two states those are. One potential social security change could be doomed because of the bank crisis, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a terrific Tuesday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel for more daily, straight-to-the-point updates on matters that financially matter to you. New Mexico legislature passes sweeping tax relief plans. So going on in New Mexico, they've actually passed a few different type of stimulus checks and rebates. They passed a $1.1 billion tax relief package at the close of its annual session. Basically, from this, the House gave final approval on a voice vote to an array of tax changes, including $500 individual rebates, tax credits up to $600 per child, and a gradual reduction in taxes on sales and business services, and new incentives for the film industry estimated at $90 million per year. So yeah, that's New Mexico. That just passed over the weekend, actually. And then stimulus update, new tax refund bill to give residents up to $500 in coming weeks. So another bill that has just been signed, so recently signed by Governor Brian Kemp, could give up to $500 to taxpayers who filed their tax returns in the last 2 years. So if you filed your tax returns in 2021 or 2022, you're eligible for a $500 check. This bill was officially signed on March 15th. The refund is thanks to a $1 billion surplus in the state's funds. The Department of Revenue will begin issuing payments in the next 6 to 8 weeks, and taxpayers must file their returns before they can receive a refund. So if you filed your taxes the past 2 years, you're eligible. And in order to get this $500 check, you're going to have to file your taxes now before the deadline, most likely, which is October 18th. And then the checks will go out in the next 6 to 8 weeks. So if you live in Georgia, file your taxes as soon as possible if you haven't already. Moving on to Social Security. After an 8.7% Social Security cost of living adjustment for 2023, next year's increase may not be as large. So I think we might have gone over this before, but I just want to give you the latest Social Security articles. Older generations are spending more thanks to record Social Security cost of living adjustment for 2023, according to Bank of America Institute, but benefits may not increase as much as next year. They're thinking it might even be below 3%. Following next year for 2024, the new COLA. But we still have a few months before that's decided in October. And then one potential Social Security change could be doomed because of the bank crisis. So a bipartisan group of U.S. senators is reportedly considering proposing the creation of a sovereign wealth fund for Social Security. Norway's sovereign wealth fund is being negatively affected by the bank crisis, and lawmakers could have second thoughts about the idea of the fund Social Security in the aftermath of the banking industry's problems. So they would just switch up the fund of where it is. So an idea that has been used by other countries to fund their national retirement programs could be dead on arrival in the U.S. You might think that the current banking turmoil has no impact whatsoever on Social Security. However, the difficulties that several banks have experienced could affect the federal program in at least one way. So what is that one way? Let's get to that. So proponents of sovereign wealth funds often rightly point out that other countries use similar approaches to fund their national retirement programs. Norway has the biggest sovereign wealth fund. Guess where Norway's sovereign wealth fund invested some of its money? In bonds issued by Silicon Valley Bank, which recently failed. Silicon Valley Bank's parent company, SVB Financial Group, is now seeking to reorganize under Chapter 11 bankruptcy laws. So that's the reason why SVB, the Silicon Valley Bank, is so important. If you have Norway investing their retirement funds in Silicon Valley Bank, you know it's a big deal, as well as many other wealthy people. So they are figuring out a different way of how to fund retirement, because bonds through Silicon Valley Bank is now probably really going to mess up Norway's retirement system. So that's one way they're going to change that. It's more for future Social Security issues, though. Then President Biden issues first veto of his presidency over influence from MAGA Republicans. Biden singled out by Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. So President Biden vetoed a bill for the first time in his presidency on Monday, arguing that the legislation was overly influenced by MAGA Republicans. The Republican-led legislation prevented Biden's administration from taking environmental and social corporate governance issues into accounting when making investment decisions. What he said here is, well, actually, I'm going to play you the video clip. Take a look at what President Biden says here and some more information about it.
I just signed this veto because the legislation passed by the Congress would put at risk the retirement savings of individuals across the country. They couldn't take into consideration investments that wouldn't be impacted by climate, impacted by overpaying executives, and that's why I decided to veto it. It makes sense to veto it.
Democratic Senators Joe Manchin and Jon Tester voted with Republicans in the Senate, while Congressman Jared Golden voted with the GOP in the House. In response to Biden's veto, Manchin released a statement criticizing the Biden administration. It reads in part this administration continues to prioritize their radical policy agenda over the economic, energy, and national security needs of our country. And it is absolutely infuriating. Despite a clear and bipartisan rejection of the rule from Congress, President Biden is choosing to put his administration's progressive agenda above the well-being of the American people. Joe Manchin, Democrat. Joining us now, White House reporter for Bloomberg News, Josh Wingrove, one of our favorites around here. So let's start with the bill. Josh, walk us through it and how the president got the decision he made.
The ESG bill in particular, I mean, look, this has been swirling a long time, John. This is a lightning rod issue. It kind of has a little bit of elements with critical race theory, and that it's been sort of a rallying cry for Republicans. And of course, that's put Democrats in pretty Republican states or swing states in tough positions. So the temperature is high, and it is sometimes difficult to reconcile some of the rhetoric on this ESG issue with the rule itself. I mean, from some of the criticism, you'd think that it requires every investment manager with a proverbial gun to their head to invest in only windmills and, whatever. That's not the case with this bill. I mean, this bill would sort of lift legal risk for investors who want funds that skew more to this. For instance, if you're someone in your 20s who doesn't believe in heavy carbon type industries, you might not want to put your money in a fund that piles into fossil fuels or whatever. West Virginia, of course, is a pretty significant fossil fuel sector, so that might be a factor for Senator Manchin as well. So this is just a lightning rod issue that has been sort of, like I say, sort of a Republican sort of like a cudgel for some time, and it's not a surprise to see Biden doing it. The DOL had actually roll back. The final rule is softer than it was to begin with. I do not think that if we do see protests in New York, they will be Wall Street protests on this rule today.
Probably no need to have the additional security. Yeah.
It is a rallying cry thing. Republicans have seized on it. There are genuine questions about whether this is a slippery slope, but it is not something that will sort of fundamentally change everyone's 401k plan overnight.
What are your thoughts on what President Biden vetoed the bill? How he vetoed the bill? Good idea? Bad idea? What do you think? Was it good for the country? Bad for the country? Let me know your thoughts on that. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you something that you should really use. If you're like the pool or something and you get hurt or something, you should just try your best, because sometimes that happens to me too, and it's not really fun. But if you got hurt like that one time, I'm sure you could deal with it, and you can be strong and powerful like how you are. So bye. Hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. So today we are all home together. So me, my wife, 2 daughters, we're doing the homeschooling and all that, baking some treats and stuff along the way. So having a good time. Just wanted to make this video for you. Gonna get back to the family time. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day. If you want to check out any of my other videos, you can click right up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.